Hello guys and gals, welcome to PupCup Games. Today I'm gonna give some Dead by Daylight real-time tips and tricks accompanied with a few games that I've played so newcomers can learn and just understand how people with more experience play the game. And with that, let's get into the build. So the build I was running is able to be run with just base game. You don't need any DLC to run this build, and it's a very well balanced, very good for solo queue. So the first perk I was running is Lightweight, which makes your running scratch marks disappear faster. Iron Will, so that you don't groan as much when you're injured. Premonition, which makes it so that you can get an auditory cue when you're looking at the killer. And Will Make It, which gives you faster healing after unhooking someone. This gives you a very nice, well-rounded build that doesn't really have any downsides, as long as you're playing solo queue. If you're playing with other people, some of these perks are more or less useless, but when you're not, it's very good. Today we are playing on Mother's Dwelling, which is a very forested map with low visibility. These first few seconds of the game are crucial. You have to get Jen's progress started early. On Mother's Dwelling, the main building is a cottage, normally that has a generator on the second floor. And this is generally considered the middle gen, which is a high priority gen. If you can complete it early, it makes the killer's patrol routes much longer, which will make their gen pressure much lower, because it takes longer for them to get to all of the gens. Today we are playing against the Legion, which I saw. The Legion is a very interesting killer to go up against. They can attack many of the survivors many times. As you can see, our friend was getting chased here. Because he was getting chased, I knew it was safe to continue working on the gen, but I'd made sure to keep general tabs on where they were at all times, so I knew where to be expecting him to get downed. As you can see, he got down right there. Got picked up so I could keep working on the gen a little bit longer. As you can see, our teammates were very good at doing their own gens. 2 gens done with only 1 hook is very good progress for the survivors to be at. We're about to get a 3rd gen done. As you can see, I was trying to get our friend up, but so was somebody else, so instead of trying to help them, I decided to work on the gen, because gen progress is the most important thing. Our friend got down across the map, but I'm not too worried because it's only his first hook, meaning that we have some time to spare. By now, one of our teammates was getting chased, so I knew it was safe to keep working on the gen. Now that everyone was fully healed and the last gen was done, my next objective was to open the gate. And with one of my teammates getting chased, I knew that it was safe to do so. For this, I was running a slightly different build. Instead of Premonition, I was running a different perk called Resilience, I think it is. It just gives me a small bonus to generators and other. Um, it gives me a small benefit to progress when I am injured. As you can see, we made early ID on the killer. It was the hillbilly who can instantly down survivors with his chainsaw and use it to run across the map at very high speeds. Again, while I'm not working on the middle gen, I was trying to focus more on early generator progression. One of my teammates was getting chased, so I knew it was safe to continue working on the gen. One of my teammates got down, so I knew I had a bit of time before I needed to start working on saving them. One gen for one hook is a very good trade. Now I decided to go see if I could try my luck at an item in the basement, considering that the killer was off in the distance. Now this is somewhat of a mistake on my part. I should have realized that none of my other teammates were doing gen, so they were likely focused on the save. And as you can see, right before I got to him, someone else saved him. It was precious time I could have spent doing the gen. I was now focused on working on the middle gen of the map, so that we could extend the killer's patrol lines. However, since I had a flashlight, I decided to go help this Bill, who had gotten down again, but unfortunately I didn't make it in time to consider flashlight saving. However, given that I was in the area and one of my other teammates working on the gen, I decided to stay in the area so that I could focus on saving the Bill, as this was the second hook, and he was very close to death. After the killer moved past, I decided to make my move and started to run to save the Bill. And thanks to my perk Will Make It, I was able to heal him at an extremely quick rate. This wasn't good. He was going after Bill a third time, which would be his final hook if he got downed. So, I decided to focus on saving the Bill with my flashlight. However, it didn't work. This is because the hillbilly had a perk called Lightborn, which makes it so that he cannot be blinded. I didn't realize this at the time, but this would inevitably cost Bill his life. Because the killer was on me and the other survivors were working on Jen, my main priority was distracting for time. Thankfully, the Killer Shack is one of the best places to loop the killer and waste his time. The main thing you want to do when looping is make sure that you're looking behind you so that you know where the killer is and keeping an eye on where the red stain is, which is the little red light where the killer is looking. He got down, so I tried to go for another flashlight save. This basically confirmed to me that he had Lightborn, and that trying to flashlight save would be not possible. A lot of perk knowledge just comes with just playing the game and general experience, so don't feel too bad if you don't know about these perks. You'll learn about them with time. The Jake actually got off of the hillbilly's back by wiggling off, so this girl and I were able to work on the gen to completion. I run to the Killer Shack because I know it's a place I can loot very well. Play around the window when you're looping the Killer Shack. As you can see, the killer was trying to juke me into going in through the window. But because I paid attention to where he was, I didn't go through the window and ended up wasting even more of his time. As you can see, he kept trying to juke me by vaulting through the window. But like I said, because I knew where he was, it was pretty easy to just keep wasting his time. And as you can see, my other teammates were doing gens. That means I was doing my job by wasting the killer's time. Playing around the corners of the shack is the key to wasting time. Now that the killer gave up on me, my next priority was focusing on the gen. And luckily I found the gen that this person was working on. Because that gen was so close to completion, I decided to waste as much as the killer's time as I could. That meant running as far away from the generator as I could so that they can complete it. Now unfortunately the killer decided to face camp me here by just standing right in front of me while I was hooked. It must have been because I wasted so much of his time he was angry at me. And that's whatever. Thankfully for me, this girl with balls of steel decided to try to help me, but Miraculously, I managed to escape off hook, which base had only has a 4% chance of happening. And because I knew where that Jake was opening the gate at, I decided to make a run for it. Unfortunately, she got caught, and given that I was injured, there was nothing much I could do. But I decided to stay around and see if an opportunity presented itself. Unfortunately for this hero, the killer decided to face camper as well. Given that she failed her third escape attempt and that she was in her second stage of the hook, there was absolutely nothing I can do short of me going up and helping her. But that wasn't possible because I was injured. Sometimes the best thing that you can do is live another day. Overall, these weren't bad games. The first one was really good because my teammates were focused on gen progress. And this game was okay. The killer tunneled and face camped, which means that people would inevitably die. But all things considered, not too bad performance. I really hope that this video helped you. If you're new, welcome to the game. If you're more experienced, please consider subscribing. It would really help me, and I appreciate you watching. Thank you.